All right, let's talk about Severance. New thriller sci-fi series from Apple TV. Um, it's pretty good. I binge watched it over the last week and a half or whatever. It's in the middle of season 2 right now, so I wanted to give this review to kind of keep up with it, and also get y'all thoughts on it. Um, I'm not a big fan of the Lost type manifest. It kind of reminds you of that. And let me just give some. I'm going to give spoilers. So spoiler alert: don't watch this if you plan on watching it and you don't like to be spoiled when you're watching something new. Um, so yeah, so it's about this individual people who the plot is basically people. Severance is referencing to a term that they sever their memories from work and from their personal life. So they come into work, they go down this elevator, and once they go down this elevator and check in at work, they forget everything and anything that happened in their personal lives, right? Like, and it's kind of cool because shit, that's what should happen. I mean, that's what happens without even us trying sometimes when we are working in corporate America. I think it says a lot about corporate America. It says a lot about the way we work nowadays, and it says a lot about what corporate giants want to do to us and kind of what the mentality they have, about us as workers, right? Especially as professionals. So they sever their memory from their personal and work life, right? So I guess it's a kind of take on work. There is no work-life balance. So and to get that work-life balance, you need to completely forget about the shit that's going on at home. And when you're at home, you need to fucking completely forget about the shit going on at work. It's sci-fi. They call it a thriller, but it's still a sci-fi because it's science fiction on how they talk about how they severed, they went into their brains, planted this chip into their brains to be able to do this, to separate their lives from their work lives from their personal lives. So I think that's pretty interesting. It is a take on, again, professionalism and corporate America. But let's get into some of the season 1, by the way, was pretty slow. I mean, it's a pretty slow kind of thing. It ain't sex, money, drugs, violence. It's not that kind of deal, right? If you need to see that, then this is not necessarily the show. It is suspenseful. It keeps you thinking at the very least. It keeps you kind of interested. It doesn't keep you engaged, I would say. It was a few times that I've fell asleep on the show, trying to watch it at night. And sometimes some shows, though, would keep my attention throughout the entire thing, right? Like a Narcos or something like that. And, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's one of the highest scores that Rotten Tomatoes gave. They say it's a generational kind of show. And after watching the first and second season, in the middle of the second season, I think it's on episode 7 coming up this Friday, it's not generational. I will tell you that. It's very much along the lines of Manifest. If you've seen Manifest, it's about people that took a flight and that flight disappeared, and then they pop up after 5 years, and then they're trying to piece together their lives, basically trying to figure out what the fuck happened, essentially. So in Severance, that's exactly what's happening, right? Like, once they realize that, hey, it's a separation between, they know that apparently they've agreed and complied to this idea that I'm going to separate my life from my personal life from my work life, because it's going to help me in some way. Maybe it's going to help me be a more productive worker. Maybe it's going to help me at home not think about the shit that's going on at work. And these are things that, as Americans, as people that, work in corporate America, this is what we do. We think about home. We kind of got to respond to kids. That kind of maybe affects our work in a lot of ways when we are thinking about what's going on at home or whatever. It's a lot of loopholes in it that, to me, I'm not a big fan of the science fiction. And I don't believe that a science fiction show can be one of the best shows of all time, one of the best series of all time, because it's not rooted in reality. It's so far-fetched that you're going to implant a chip in your brain and you're just going to cut off the memories from one place to another once you arrive at this place, right? It's just so much science and so much fiction that goes into that actually happening that it's hard to connect to it, right? It's more, again, entertainment like anything else, but I like, shows that are generational, shows that are some of the best of all time. The Wire, Sopranos, Breaking Bad. These are all shows that are rooted in reality, in some type of reality, right? So anyway, I digress. The what's keeping this show going is that the clues, right? Like on some Blues Clues shit. Like, oh, we got a clue. All right, let me figure out this clue. And every episode, they're kind of unraveling a little bit more and getting a little bit closer to Severance. It's weird. It's kind of creepy. There's the shows. I like the acting. I do like the acting. But the creepy part is that they're in the office. They're the only people that they see in this office. They're in a big old corporate building, right? With a lot of other people presumably in that building. This floor, the severed floor, all the people that are employed by this company, Lumen, who agreed to this severance procedure. Well, earlier in the first season, the main character Mark S gets introduced to one of his work besties that got fired from Severance, and presumably when you get fired, it's like you can't separate your personal. You're still the same person, but your memories are separate. So it's almost like having a split personality or double identity in a way, where you don't really know what the fuck is going on, what your work person says or what your work person thinks or feels, and likewise, your work persona, or any is what they call it. Any and outie. The any is the one that is at work. The you, the version of you that's at work, and the outie is the version of you that's on the outside or at home in your personal life. So Mark S gets, some kind of clue. His outie gets a clue that his any had a best friend, and they can't, you can't separate those thoughts. So they have to separate those thoughts. So he's not picking up on a lot of the shit that they're saying. They don't recognize faces and things like that. So that's how the first season kind of started. And, it was pretty suspenseful. It wasn't like groundbreaking, jaw-breaking. It didn't seem like it was a kind of a watershed moment, right? But Mark S is the protagonist in the whole series, and he's the main character. And I like his acting, though. I really do like his acting. I think the actors are really they did well. They are ugly as fuck, all of them. Well, a couple of them, but I think that's good because it doesn't take your focus away from the actual plot, right? Like if you got this drop dead good looking person, you might get your focus taken away and start thinking about other shit. But good acting, I think, is very appropriate for what they're trying to convey. The antagonist is primarily in the first season Miss Cobell or Miss Slavic or I forgot her name. But anyway, she's also his neighbor. So his boss is his neighbor because Lumen has this corporate housing and Mark is at work, right? And he knows Miss Cobell, right? Or his boss and the manager of this severed floor. But he also understands that he also has a relationship with her, the same person. It's not revealed until the end of the season that she is not severed. So she understands what's going on at work, but also at home. And she's not, she doesn't separate those two things. And none of the management in this company really is severed. It's only the workers, right? The kind of the ground workers. They don't know what they're doing. Their team doesn't know what they're doing. So they're trying to figure it out throughout season 1. Season 2, things start to pick up a little bit. They actually, it's something called overtime contingency plan or whatever, OTC, where the company actually taps into the work personality, right? The any, while their body is on the outside, right? So they tap into their mind or their brain, and now this outie, right, is in the world, and they don't know what's going on at work. But they tapped into it real quick, and now they're confused and kind of thinking about what the hell, where am I? Why do I have this case? Or why do I have this? Who are these people around me? Things like that. Like they don't know if they have a family and shit like that. So the 4 workers, Helly, are Mark, Dylan, and what's his name? Irvin, kind of get pieced together, right, their lives, and now they bring those questions back to work, and now they're trying to figure shit out. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What's my family like? What's my outie situation? And a big development happens where one of the outies, the only lady in the series that's a worker, Helly R, turns out to be one of the corporate, one of the family members that own this corporation. And some interesting things happen. Mark S. and Helly has a relationship, intimate relationship. The Annie Helly is really like inquisitive. She's really about justice and fairness, and her outer personality is like, all about corporate dominance, all about what's best for the family business, what's best for making the money. In season 2, Miss Cobwell got fired. She did some bullshit, got fired, but they promoted the black guy, Mr. Milchick. And he represent, one thing I like about it as a black man is diversity. It's diverse. It's very diverse. The show. So, they have the representation of black characters, and they're not just the typical Sambo nigga. You know what I'm saying? They are, intelligent, they're thoughtful. They add a lot of value to the show and the series. But one of the last things that just happened recently is Mr. Milchick got a performance review. And one of the things in his performance review said that he uses too many big words. And this is funny because this is, I love the commentary about what's going on now and currently. So they kind of bring that into it. And, his performance review, first of all, he got replaced when the white lady didn't do a great job. So they automatically go, and there's a lot of history and a lot of suggestions around how the black person is, there to save the day. Kamala Harris, right? Barack Obama after, Bush. So I think it says a lot of commentary around how black people are treated in corporate America. Then they said in his performance review that he used too many big words. He fucked up on putting the paperclip the right way. So a little nitpicky bullshit that we deal with in corporate America, especially at middle management or management levels, where we're getting blamed for everything that goes wrong, but we get no credit for anything that goes right. I like that piece in season 2. Season 2, I'm presuming, is almost over. There's another 8 episodes each season, but it's getting sticky. So now what's going on is Mark is revealing he's going through reintegration, what they call it. He's basically redoing the Severance, and he's kind of piecing together some of his memories from his past, his present, and also his outer and inner lives. And he recognizes that his wife is one of the people that severed, but his wife was supposedly had died a few years earlier, which is why he wanted to be severed, so he can forget about the sadness that his wife's death brought him throughout his regular life, and he didn't want to bring that to work. And that's very valid, right? Like, if you want to just forget about some shit, yeah, cool, but it's no reversing it. That's the problem, right? It's like, and once you're severed, your new kind of personality, is kind of at odds with your outie, because you don't know what the fuck your outie was thinking when they decided to make this decision to sever your memories from work and personal life. So Mark is going through reintegration, and there's another black lady who's doing all the science, the brain shit, cutting your brain open, putting the chip in, flooding the chip, shit like that. And he's trying to figure out and trying to piece together, one, what Lumen is really up to, because it's some baby goats, it was fucking a storm and shit like that inside the building. That they're trying to figure out, like, well, how does this all work together? They separate Lumen, the company separated the department, so they don't know. And then they got these, 4 founders, the owners and founders of the company that they, got Bibles, and they're looking at, these sayings and these quotes because they don't know shit else, right? They don't have any outside literature or material. So to make it short, I mean, I think it's a good series. I think if you are interested in shit like sci-fi, you need something to kill your time, good. But don't look at it with no expectations that it's going to be a generational type of series, because it's not. I think Christopher Walken's in it. He plays a great character. He's a gay man. And I think that nuance and that dynamic between him and Irvin B is a really welcoming one, because it changes the shit up, right? It adds a different dynamic. Usually, there's a platonic or romantic relationship with male and female, usually, and it's not any graphic things or anything like that. They're like not having sex, but it's like it kind of shows the, like, almost like the dating and the courtship phase of 2 older grown men and how they're both lonely as fuck. Well, one of them is, and anyway, it's a lot of interesting shit going on with that. Right now. And so that's where we are. I'm not going to say it's a groundbreaking series. I'm not going to say it's generational. I've seen pretty much all the generational series, and I think it doesn't come close to any of those. Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, The Wire. it's not even close, but it is good. You know, I think it's one of the better series that I've seen recently. I haven't seen a whole lot of series. I haven't watched a whole lot of TV, so this was a refreshing reason to bullshit and binge. So tell me what you think. Check it out. Like, subscribe, comment, click that notification bell. I'm going to upload, depending on this video, I'm going to upload another video after season 7 reaction. After episode 7 for season 2 drops this Friday. I'll upload another reaction. So follow this and check it out. Let me know what you think about the series if you watched it. But I would recommend, but out of 10, I would say it's about a 6, 6.5, maybe 7, depending on how it ends. But it's hard to stick the landing with things like this, because once you figure out what the fuck going on, it might be some stupid, dumb shit where it's like, all right, I waited all this time to see the reveal, and now it's that? Like, come on, bro. Anyway, again, like, comment, subscribe, follow, click that notification bell so you can know when I'm giving my opinion on life, love, relationships, culture, pop culture, movies, shit like that.